Welcome to a new deep dive from the Heavy Blend.
It's great to be here.
If you're new to the show, we're an independent project, actually born in Italy, and our whole goal is to give you the fastest, most thorough understanding of a big rock or heavy metal release.
Right, and we do that by pulling from a bunch of public sources, the specialized press, our team picks them out, and then we use the latest AI tools to kind of re-elaborate everything.
All to give you the most authoritative summary without any of the fluff.
And today, we are definitely skipping the fluff. The consensus around what we're talking about is, well, it's pretty explosive.
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
We are diving deep into the wild card. It's the 10th studio album from the Swedish melodic hard rock veterans Treat.
Released in 2025, and this album marks, almost 40 years since their debut, Scratch and Bite, back in 1985.
40 years, that's some serious longevity. And what's really fascinating is how the Italian rock journals we've been tracking are talking about this. I mean, these are highly respected sites, internationally known, and they're not just giving it a polite nod. They're treating it like a genuine artistic milestone.
Exactly. And to set the stage, let's just go right to the feeling from the critics at truemetal.et. They use this incredible Italian phrase that just captures it all.
What was it?
Roba da fuori class.
Oh, that's a beautiful phrase. It has such power. So for everyone listening, when you say something is roba da fuori class, what are you really saying?
You're basically saying it's world-class stuff, or maybe even the stuff of champions. It just immediately raises the stakes. This isn't just good, it's elite.
So that's our mission for you today. We're going to unpack why these authoritative Italian voices see this album as a serious contender for Album of the Year.
And not just in melodic rock circles, we're talking about a late-career masterpiece that uses, both incredible craftsmanship and a surprisingly deep thematic structure.
This isn't just about nostalgia, then.
Not at all. It's about mastery.
Okay, let's unpack this. I think we have to start with the hard consensus, right? The review scores. Because they tell a really unified story.
They really do. There's this strong uniformity across the board. TrueMetal.et, for instance, gave it an almost unbelievable 89 out of 100.
89.
Yeah. And they immediately called it a nuovo caposaldo.
A new cornerstone.
A new cornerstone in their entire catalog. I mean, think about that. 40 years in, and you're getting scores that high and being called a nuovo caposaldo. That's a huge statement about your relevance.
It really is. And it's not just one site.
No, Metal. It backed it up with an 8 out of 10. They noted that Treat aren't just a legacy act, but they're considered autentici luminari del settore.
Authentic luminaries of the sector, so standard bearers.
Exactly. And even the lowest score we curated, a 78 out of 100 from melodicrock.et, still admitted that, while it might not be revolutionary,
Right.
the band is in uno stato di forma notevole, a remarkable state of form. It just confirms the quality is consistently high.
And that word, consistency, keeps coming up in the sources. In this genre, it's so easy to just pad an album with filler.
Mm-hmm.
But True Metal, it is adamant that no weak track is used as simple filler. The whole thing feels thought out and carefully studied. For you, the listener, that's huge.
It means you can just trust the entire record.
And the high scores are justified not just by the songs, but by the sound, right? There's still melodic hard rock, but the production from Peter Manson gets singled out as modern and
What was the phrase?
impeccabilmente nordica.
Impeccably Nordic.
Yeah, and that really speaks to the precision, the clarity. It's this crispness that makes sure the arrangements, which are really refined, don't get muddy.
So it's tight, dynamic, crystal clear.
Exactly. It makes all those classic elements, the melodies, the huge choruses, sound like they were recorded today, not like some dusty throwback.
And that kind of polish, it has to come from intense chemistry. You've got Robert Ernlund on vocals, Anders Wistrom on guitars.
Who's really the driving force? Right. Then Jamie Borger on drums, Ella Poulsen on bass, and Patrick Appelgren on keys, which are so critical to their sound.
And it's that consistent lineup that lets the polish really shine. They're all on the same wavelength.
Okay, so they perfected the sound. But the critics argue the real brilliance comes from perfecting the story. And this is where it goes from just a great rock album to like a real artistic statement.
Yes. This is the secret weapon, the core concept of the wild card.
So what is it?
Anders Wikström himself confirmed to the press in Italy that there's an internal timeline built into the record. The theme of the tracks reflects the life, the love, and the history of the band. It's a semi-autobiographical journey.
That is fascinating. It's a really high-concept approach for this genre. It gives you a narrative to follow, something deeper than just sing-alongs.
And Surprisingly, according to the reviews, it never feels forced. The songwriting is just that strong, but it gives you this powerful lens to listen through.
So how does it unfold?
Well, the journey starts with the track Adam and Evil, which Wickstrom confirmed is about his childhood.
And then it just accelerates right into the band's most crucial era.
Precisely. You jump to the track 1985, an explicit celebration of the year they debuted. It works as this powerful slice of nostalgia, but also as an anchor for their whole career.
And it even closes with a dedication.
It does. The album ends with 1 minute to breathe. It's a dedication to the people who were with the band on their journey, but, aren't around anymore.
That's a beautiful way to end it.
It is. It has this emotional resonance, and Patrick Applegren's keyboards really make it shine. It gives the whole narrative a sense of cohesion, a real finality.
And when you look at the musical influences, the sources cite, you can kind of hear that timeline. TrueMetal.it mentions Sweet, Boston, Van Halen, Kiss.
Def Leppard. They even call out Queen, especially in the track Your Majesty.
That Queen comparison is a big one. It suggests a level of sophistication you don't always get.
It really does. But here's the kicker. While they draw on this, this great history of the genre, melodicrock.it and others all conclude the same thing.
Wait.
The best comparison for Treat now is Treat themselves.
They've become their own point of reference,
Yeah.
self-actualized.
Exactly. They've synthesized everything into their own sound. It confirms their status as just absolute masters of the genre.
Okay, let's move into the specific tracks that everyone is praising, the ones that really justify that world-class stuff label.
Right. The opening trio gets universal praise. They just hit so hard and fast. Out with a Bang was a brilliant choice for the single.
Yeah.
Melodic Rock.
Yeah.
It says it instantly recaptures the S01E06 sunrise spirit of their early stuff.
The festive and sunrise spirit, I love that.
It's just an immediate, exhilarating attack, and right after that you get Rodeo.
Which Melodic Rock called maybe the best track on the whole album.
Yeah.
That's a huge call for a record this strong.
It is. And the reason is it's the perfect mix of attitude and melody. It's got this drive, but the chorus delivers this massive, irresistible hook. It sounds both classic and totally fresh.
But the most interesting discussion in the Italian press seems to be around 1985. It sets up this kind of dialogue within the whole scene.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for genre fans. Metal. It points out that 1985 reaches these really high levels of involvement with its carefree vibe.
Right.
And then they drop this provocative idea that this track is the definitive answer to Nestor's hugely popular nostalgia track, 1989.
Oh, that is a fantastic rivalry.
Eh.
A conversation between two huge generational statements about the 80s. Nestor's 1989 had this powerful, almost melancholy nostalgia.
It did.
So what does Treat's 1985 bring to the table that makes it the counterpunch?
Well, Treat actually lived 1985 as a band.
Yeah.
They bring this inherent authority. The sources suggest their track is less about looking back through a polished lens
And more about
capturing the immediate, vibrant feeling of that year, that pure, untainted energy. So while Nestor delivered this perfectly polished, thoughtful nostalgia, Treat is delivering the soundtrack to the party that actually happened.
that context just elevates the whole thing. And beyond those big singles, there are other gems too, right? Endeavor, Night Brigade.
All highlighted by the sources. It really underlines that no-filler claim.
But, we have to provide some balance. There were some nuanced critiques. Not every single track was seen as perfect.
Right, the ballad divide.
Exactly. Melodic rock, it was pretty clear on this. They said the slow tracks, Heaven's Waiting and Your Majesty, were maybe the meno brillanti.
The less brilliant of the bunch.
They felt they didn't quite hit the heights of the power ballads Treat is famous for.
But even that critique is complicated, because if you take Your Majesty, as some found it less brilliant, but metal, it describes it as this sophisticated fusion of the Beatles and Queen.
Wow, that's a complex lineage.
Totally. They even suggest it might appeal to Britpop fans, which shows its supposed weakness is actually it's them being more ambitious, moving away from the typical formula.
So they were pushing the boundaries of what a melodic rock ballad could be.
Precisely. And no matter what, the album absolutely earns its closure with that stunning dedication track, 1 Minute to Breathe. The nostalgic tone, Applegren's keyboard work. It's a powerful, heartfelt finale.
So we've covered the craftsmanship, the thematic journey. Let's talk about the iconography, the album cover. That gesture, the wild card, is such a striking image.
And it is completely intentional and defiant, according to TrueMetal.it. The gesture symbolizes unpredictability. subverting expectations. And you have to remember, their last album was called The Endgame.
That's incredible context. So they release the endgame, everyone thinks they're winding down, and then boom, 2 years later, the wild card.
It's such a powerful move. The cover art is the band declaring they have un nuovo aso nella manica.
A new ace up their sleeve.
Exactly. It's this expression of surprise, of cunning. It's the veteran band saying, we're still unpredictable and we can still win big.
So the core message is one of passione impata.
Intact passion. And just this renewed enthusiasm, they're proving their talent is still vital after 4 decades.
And that energy comes from the top, from Anders Wickstrom.
It does. He emphasized that music is his greatest vocation after his family. He's driven to communicate these powerful, positive feelings, love, joy, the will to live. This isn't just a band fulfilling a contract. This is a manifesto.
Okay, so let's synthesize this whole deep dive. Drawing on the authority of TrueMetal.ab, Metal.ad, and MelodicRock.e, the verdict is, it's unified. It's crystal clear.
It is. The Wild Card is way more than just a good album. It's a cohesive, mature, masterfully crafted record that uses its own history as its foundation.
It looks to the past without regret, but affirms its future vitality.
This is the nuovo caposalzo the critics promised. The level of songwriting and production just solidifies Treat's status as absolute masters. You really need to hear this.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? What stands out to you about a veteran band using its own timeline as the creative structure for a new record? Is that an innovative technique, or is it a potential trap?
And it raises that question the Italian critics are debating. Do you agree that Treat's 1985 is the definitive nostalgic track of the decade? Or do you lean toward the comparison to Nestor's 1989? Where does the true spirit of 80s nostalgia lie for you?
And finally, now that you know the symbolism, which track do you think best embodies that gesture, that unpredictable wild card of the title? We'd love for you to interact with us.
Yeah, leave a comment, share your thoughts on the album, and tell us if you agree with this critical consensus.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into Treat's late career masterpiece, The Wild Card. We'll see you next time on The Heavy Blend.